Hello, students. Welcome to week 5 of our class. It's hard to believe that we're already here. This week, you will work on finishing up your case study analysis. And remember that you could choose from one of two topics that are in the case study folder on the left-hand side of Blackboard. Last week, we finished talking about culturally responsive teaching, which could really come in handy if you choose to complete the bilingual education case study analysis. Culturally responsive instruction has been around for a long time, and a lot of teachers have been utilizing elements of it. It's just grown in importance as of late because studies have shown that when we take into account our students' unique and individual lived experiences, their community characteristics, their individual strengths and needs, both in terms of demographic needs and in terms of developmental needs, in terms of community context and interests, local interests, we engage our students more. So those are all very, very important elements to be incorporating into our instruction across the curriculum. And, this isn't something that's unique to middle school. This is something that needs to be taking place in early education, middle childhood education, high school education, and even into college. I mean, you see us trying to do this as much as we can as well to mirror best practices in our own instruction as well. So it's something that's really vital in terms of making learning relevant. So I'm hoping that you gain something from it that you can see of use in your own future practice, but also might come in handy as you're trying to reply to the responses for that case study if you chose it. I also want you to continue working on that first performance-based project. You're in the brainstorming mode right now, and hopefully you're starting to look up some primary sources about interdisciplinary curriculum, what it contains, what it looks like. Our text will have some great information, as you will find out. You have time to continue to digest this and to work on it. And by all means, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to post them in the discussion board for me to answer, because if you have a question, it's highly likely a classmate has a question. So it's nice to have those put out there publicly. But you can also shoot me an email as well. Or you can stop by during my office hours. Even though you're in an online class, I want you to know you're always welcome to stop by and talk face to face. Those two projects aside, what you're going to be reading this week is something that you're going to find really interesting, really practical, and it's going to be a fast read. You're going to read a few chapters from a supplemental text, which I have provided in our weekly learning session folder on hard to handle parents. And the cool thing about this subject is that it's something, again, that applies from pre-K to 12. And honestly, I think if you come in contact with other hard to handle people outside of the classroom, it might come in handy there. But we just go over some different techniques that have proved to be useful when dealing with difficult and tricky situations with parents in the classroom, particularly with angry parents. So there are different ways that you can positively say no to a parent, and there are different ways that you can um, channel them to pick from choices that are appropriate. So that's what we look at in these chapters, giving you some different techniques to put into your tool chest that you could use later. Some of the cool ones are asking for time to think, just something simple and little. Apologizing, not apologizing for something you did when you know you didn't do something wrong, but apologizing for the way that that parent feels or how their child feels, but then bringing it back to the situation itself. What does that do? It shows empathy and it helps to de-escalate what could be a stressful situation. But another cool one is the sandwich technique, and this works like a gem when you're a parent too. What the sandwich technique is it's taking and saying two positive things, but putting in the middle the something that might be difficult to say or the negative thing, but that needs to be said. And as a parent, you do that because you want a child to feel validated and loved and know that they are good, but you also want to call them on when they've done something wrong. And it's the same thing that we have to often do with students in the classroom. And then we need to communicate that positively to parents. You know, we believe and we know, and scripture tells us that parents are the primary educators. They are the best people for us to partner with. And if we can form proactive and positive relationships with them in the classroom, then there's no reason why every child shouldn't succeed. So I think that the tools that are in Hard to Handle Parents are going to be ones that you're going to really love and want to put in your tool chest for later. And there are a couple other elements in these chapters that are short little checklists that I would really encourage you to print out. One is a 9-step intervention strategy for setting up a meeting with a parent, particularly one that you know might be difficult. And there are little snippets in there like setting time boundaries, what to do when that meeting needs to end, like stand, little things like that that are just good to have on hand so that you can have them handy when you are in a situation like that. Another one is a nevers list, like what not to let yourself do when you're put in a difficult situation with a parent, just to kind of separate your professional life from your personal life and to keep yourself uplifted and positive, even in those difficult times as a teacher, because they will occur. But we know that what we're doing is a calling and it's a means to our own holiness. And holiness is hard, right? But God does great things even through the difficulties. So that is everything for this week. You'll be writing a little reflection on Hard to Handle Parents. Um, and I believe that will be a reflection that just comes very naturally and will be a quick writing for you. So you'll have plenty of time to finish working on that case study and to continue to dive into that first performance-based project. But that is everything for this week. I look forward to reading your Hard to Handle parent submissions later in the week and your first case study analysis. So God bless you. If you are in Steubenville, stay warm because it's going to be a cold one. And take care.